Hey everybody, just want to hop on and give some thoughts about some of the announcements from the Game Awards last night. As like most people, I watched that show just for the announcements. Uh, there was actually quite a few things that it got me pretty excited. Out the gate, it hit me with something that I have been waiting and wanting for a long time, which is a new 2D Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. This looks great. It pulls in you see the mechanics from the original NES games worked back in there. I mean, graphically for this style of game, it looks great. I'm sure the music's going to be great. I mean, this just looks fun. It just looks like it's got that same kind of fun gameplay from those original NES games, and I'm here for that. I've been wanting one of those for a while. And there's another game I've been yelling about for a while. We're getting a new Onimusha. Now, obviously, we didn't see much of it, so we don't know what we're going to get with that one. It's a ways off, but the fact that they're actually going there, that they're bringing this old IP out that hasn't been seen since the PS2 days, please, thank you. More of this. There are so many companies just sitting on good old IP that is just sitting there, abandoned almost. That it's just like, why are you doing this? Why aren't you bringing out Onimusha? I was yelling about that for years. There's even, Capcom even has made games that are similar to Onimusha, and you're just like, why don't you just make a new Onimusha? So I'm very happy to be seeing that coming out. Turok Origins, a new Turok game. Please and thank you. Again, another great game from, you know, this time from the N64 era. Turok was great. I love those first couple Turok games. So the fact that we're getting a new one, I am all for it. Can't wait to play it. Certainly, want to see some more actual gameplay, but just the fact that it even exists is kind of enough to get me kind of hyped for it. Outer Worlds 2, I was predisposed to loving this one. I love the first one, and it's that Bethesda, first person open world RPG style game that I'm just a sucker for. So this was already going to be something I was going to be hyped for. So can't wait to jump into that one. Borderlands 4, I enjoy the Borderlands series. They aren't my absolute favorite, but it's definitely going to be high on my list of something to jump into, because I do feel like Borderlands, they do a good job of maintaining a very streamlined, fun gameplay. And so that's one definitely I'll be jumping into. One that's curious to me, and I'm curious about it. I need to see more of it, but I'm excited at the potential of it, which is Game of Thrones King's Road, because that's coming from Warner Brothers. And if you ever played their Lord of the Rings games from the PS2 era, or their, really any of their Lord of the Rings games, Shadow of Mordor, um, I think this could be on that level. And I mean, come on, if you're taking a action adventure style game like that, and you're putting it in the Game of Thrones universe, and it's Warner Brothers, so if they're gonna actually stop just sitting on the Nemesis system and use it in that game, that could be wild. Because there are so many factions in Game of Thrones, that to have a Nemesis system that you could, create, different nemesis from all these different houses, and the walkers and all that kind of stuff, like, that could be a wild game. But again, cautiously optimistic on that. Need to see a little more, but definitely has me intrigued. Witcher 4, the trailer looks good. I know enough about the story of the Witcher games to know that it lines up with the end of the third game. Obviously, this is just a cinematic. The cinematic looks good. I like what I have played through Cyberpunk since it got fixed. I have not really dove in heavy into the Witcher games. That said, what little I have played of them, I've liked. I just haven't jumped into them. Uh, I think I'll probably just jump straight into Witcher 3 and grind through that. And that way, I think that'll probably be the closest gameplay wise to what Witcher 4 will be, I would imagine. So I think that'll give me a good taste and really, let me level set and be like, okay, am I going to enjoy a Witcher 4? But I mean, that was a nice trailer. Looks interesting. And the one that really got me curious is Intergalactic, which is the new Naughty Dog game. And I'm very curious about it because it's got a unique look to it sci-fi wise that I liked. You know, it's you know, it is pulling a lot of kind of 80s aesthetics into it, but it's just kind of unique in that sense. Like, here's this far off future, and you're on this ship with somebody who's very like, you know, they're listening to the Pet Shop Boys. They're wearing these kind of 80s and early 90s style Nikes. Like, you know, there's just something about it that piqued my interest. So I'm very, very curious about this one. Obviously, definitely need to see a lot more. My hope here is because I know a lot of people really like the Last of Us games, but I've purposefully checked out on those because I know they're kind of downer games storyline wise. And even if the gameplay's fun, I don't necessarily want to play through a downer of a story. Like, I can watch a downer story when it comes to like a movie or a book, but you know, playing a game that's just kind of bleak through the whole thing, I just like, you're spending so much time in that I'm just kind of like, man, I don't know if I want to play something that heavy. So I've never really gotten into The Last of Us. I'm hoping this will be just kind of a fun adventure, which it seems to be setting it up that way. But, you know, we'll have to see. It's going to be very much a kind of wait and see on this one. But I'm definitely curious about it. You know, I definitely want to see where this is going. So, those are just kind of my things that got me either hyped or very curious about that was announced at the Game Awards. So, let me know what you're excited for in the comments below. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.